Gwen Tennyson, spellcaster and anodide hybrid. Adam Eve, the atomic superhuman from Invincible. When it comes to heroics, these fine ladies dressed in pink are second to none, at least as far as we know, because today we shall decide which one of these heroes comes out as truly invincible, and the other one is gonna end up being a dweeb. Welcome to Fiction Duel. Samantha Eve Wilkins was created to become the strongest superhero on the planet, albeit via unethical means. Despite that, Eve would become a capable heroine from her merits alone, and part of that is due to her subatomic manipulation. Eve can harness pink energy that is used to launch energy bolts, pink force fields, and even form energy constructs, blades, spikes, armors, and even pink platforms. She also carries other tricks up her fuchsia sleeves like telekinesis, light, and the most cracked ability at her disposal, that being her transmutation. Turning apples into gold, splitting stones apart, and essentially rearranging molecular structures like Legos. There is no limit to what Eve can accomplish. Except for the fact her creator, Dr. Brandyworth, placed mental blocks to ensure she couldn't manipulate living matter. Of course, this can be bypassed whenever she experiences intense emotion to the point she can even erase the memories of her targets. Thanks to her anodide heritage from her grandma Verdona, Gwendolyn has numerous magical spells at her disposal. With her mana manipulation specifically, she can create whips to grab objects, mana barriers that can cut someone's oxygen, and mana blasts that can stagger powerful aliens. Not only can she manipulate mana as an extension of herself, she can also cast magical spells for desired effects. There are her gravity manipulation spells, teleportation spells, and spells that can allow the user to travel across time. As for instant wind spells, there are her instant sleep spells and spells that can slow down a target's speed to a crawl. However, none of these magic tricks compare to her anodide form that grants her flight, size manipulation, and unlimited access to the mana in her given area. Since mana is a form of life force energy, and anodides themselves are beings made out of pure energy to a point where they lack DNA themselves. It was stated in the guidebooks that Eve, at the end of the series, can rival Viltrumites. This is important because any feat performed by the likes of her boyfriend Invincible and father Omni-Man. In the TV show, Omni-Man casually surface wiped the entire planet the Flaxans were living on, which would require 1.34 teratons of TNT, and Mark to survive a massive nuclear explosion that could induce the largest solar flare in history, casually putting Eve's attack potency at the country level to continental levels of power. However, we could split to the atom and scale our First Lady even higher, as if we scale her to Space Racer, who has a gun that can punch through planets and rupture stars. This should be consistent since Omnipotus was stated in his guidebook to manipulate reality and can destroy a star system through a chain reaction, putting our queen of nuclear fuchsia at planetary to large star level in terms of power. It is worth noting that the durability of Adam Eve doesn't scale to this directly, and we need armor and barriers to make up for it. Although she is more of a support-based fighter and the brains of the Ben 10 group, her power is not to be underestimated. She scales to atomics, creating a miniature sun that has been calculated to have the energy to destroy a small country. Her scaling takes a massive jump if you take her being able to stagger the likes of Ultimate Humongosaur and blocking an attack from Way Big, both aliens having planetary scaling. You can go even higher considering that Way Big has been stated to manipulate cosmic storms, providing star-level scaling. This is also supported by evil Way Bad destroying a planet. Even if you want to argue against this scaling in her base form, she should most definitely scale above all the previously mentioned feats in her Anodite form, as she was able to knock away Humongosaur in a single Mana Blast, making this magical girl planetary to dwarf star level. For speed, both fighters have shown to have relativistic reaction speed for blocking laser fire. When it comes to scaling their reaction speed to other characters' travel speed, both characters can easily exceed the speed of light. Adam Eve, at the end of the series, should scale to Omni-Man, traveling to another planet located in the Virgo supercluster in a week, which is 65 million light years away. This means Omni-Man had to travel at a speed over 3.3 billion times the speed of light. Eve would most likely be able to perceive at these speeds, since she was able to contend with hordes of Thraxan Viltrumite hybrids. In Gwen's case, her grandmother can keep up with Jet Ray, which he has been shown to jump into hyperspace travel with his raw speed alone. This is impressive considering that hyperspace jump gate was used to travel to the planet Oxtaka in 15 seconds, located 66,000 light years away. This means the speed required to reach that distance in that amount of time would have to be 138 billion times the speed of light. Even more conservative estimates would have Gwen's Anodite form scaled to chromosome species being able to travel to the planet Petrophia, which is halfway across the galaxy, requiring speeds of 5.4 billion times the speed of light, putting both fighters at relativistic to massively faster than light plus speeds. Gwen has shown remarkable skill when it comes to close quarters combat, as she has practiced judo for 9 years. In her Anodite form, Dagon stated she was the most powerful being on the planet. Well, of course it doesn't involve the likes of Ben when he turns into Alien X, but it could still put her above all of Ben's ultimate transformations. Gwen stated herself she was going to destroy all of them at once. Don't count Eve out just yet. She brought herself back from the brink of death multiple times by regenerating entire limbs and organs. In her fully powered state, she was even able to disintegrate all of Conquest's skin while having her guts spilling out beforehand. Intelligence should be comparable, as Gwen is a gifted student who solves complex calculus equations, and Eve has gone to a school for gifted youngsters thanks to her built-in knowledge of atomic and chemical structures.
3, 2, 1.
Fight!
Gwen Tennyson uses Estoe Quasi Integementum Imatari Proximum to travel to Invincible's dimension. She was tracking down Charmcaster, who was stated to be using a spell to disguise herself as a superheroine of this dimension. While on the contrary, Eve was on patrol from a tip from Cecil that there's a rogue magic user in the city. Of course, both females come across each other, misread the situation, and attempt to restrain each other. Again, that doesn't go as planned, and they resort to blasting each other, sparking the beginning of this duel. From the stat rundown, it's clear both fighters have very similar abilities and moves that mirror each other. Both fighters can cast force fields, create constructs, and fly throughout the air. While it could be said that Eve scaling to Omnipotence and Space Racer, she would have the advantage in attack power. And if we judge her from her end of series counterpart, she would have much more battle experience in comparison to Gwen. Speed scaling is when the scales start to tip in Gwen's favor, as she appears to have a slight edge in that category. One could argue that Gwen can only perceive at these speeds, and there is more proof of Eve being able to react and fight at these speeds, so it would just come down to who can manage to land the decisive blow first in this scenario. Gwen, even without the speed advantage, has a plethora of magic spells that could end the fight immediately, like Samus to put Eve to sleep, or Tardis Mortis to slow Eve down, nullifying the speed argument. And not to mention, there's her Charm of Luck that could turn the pink tide of the battle to her favor as well. In conclusion, I could see Eve's awakened state coming in clutch and potentially turning Gwen into a cheeseburger and calling it a day. Personally, Gwen's greater hacks, movement speed, and anodyne powers secure her as the winner of this fiction duel. That's all for today's video, homies. I hope you enjoyed this installment of Fiction Duel with the whole Women's Month theme. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe for more content, and tell me in the comments below what kind of matchups you want to donate for your favorite broke boy. Until next time, keep on creating. See you around.